Hi, welcome to Focus on Finance. I'm your host, Melanie Parker. Focus on Finance is brought to you by the Consumer Education Division of the Right Legacy Group. We have a lot to talk about, so we are going to jump right in. We've got a couple of folks here from JAG. Well, actually, Dr. Kasinger, you are with JAG. You are a JAG specialist, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And Dr. Robert King, you are the principal of where they are located, which is College View here in Elizabethtown.
Yes.
Okay, great. Well, let's define JAG so folks know what we're talking about.
So JAG is an acronym that stands for Jobs for America's Graduates, and that's exactly what we do.
Great.
We provide the opportunity for students who are about ready to graduate to have those employable skills that they need to be successful in the workforce.
Wonderful, and success is one of my favorite words. We have a lot of that going on right here in Hardin County.
Yes, ma'am.
And in order to do that, you definitely need help from local folks, and I guess that's where you all would come in. How did JAG even start?
Well, we've always had a need in Hardin County, especially at College View.
Right.
A lot of students needed the support that they needed, or they needed support for the soft skills to try to find jobs, and once they got the jobs, to try to advocate for themselves, to learn how to keep the jobs.
Right.
So that was such a huge need that we were able to partner with JAG and get it started here, so that way we had a professional that would work with our students to try to develop those skills, help them find the jobs that were suited to their interest, and then help them keep the jobs once they found the jobs.
Right. I know you mentioned soft skills, and that's something I hear repeatedly out in the community for potential employers, that they're really looking for strong soft skills in our youth, and I'm so glad you all look into that and teach that. Can you define kind of for our folks what soft skills might be?
Yes, ma'am. So we start off with the simple things that we oftentimes take for granted. You know, what's good character look like?
Right.
How
Yes.
to budget your finances weekly or monthly, however that may look with, you know, the way that you get paid for your job.
Right. I work for a financial advisor, so I really appreciate that one. Yes.
We're actually even partnering up this week with Kentucky Career Center to do a financial literacy course over there to show the
Bravo.
students how, which is where some of the other skills come in, to show the students how to look for jobs. If they don't find one or they don't have one specifically upon graduation, then I'll take them over there and we'll look and see what's going on in the area, something that may pique their interest a little bit more than what we've discussed throughout the year. But the skills we teach them also are leadership skills. It's important for the students to know, and this is one thing that we talk to them about, is that you may not be exactly a leader at your workplace once you are employed, but you do need to be a leader, whether it's in your family, in your community, things of that nature. And those leadership skills shine through when they actually get on the workforce, regardless of what their role is. But also teamwork. You know, every job, there's some type of teamwork going on, no
That's
matter.
a big one.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
So those, I believe those would be mainly the soft skills, just the things that we oftentimes take for granted as just being common sense.
Right. And how to play well with others.
Right.
In the workplace, that's a big one, because morale in the workplace is super important.
Yeah.
And you can't teach confidence, but if you teach them leadership skills, I think the confidence will come.
Absolutely.
And so you teach what you can that will lead into what they really need in life. And even something as simple as a good handshake. Isn't that a big one? Am I crazy, or is that a big one?
That is, and that's actually one of the things that we teach early on in the course. We teach them what we call GNAP.
Oh, okay.
You know, shake your hand, you greet, and then you tell them your name, and then you tell them
I
what.
should write this down.
So it's a greeting. It's your greeting. It's your name. What the purpose is that you're there, and yeah.
I love that. Those skills. And once you do that, like I said, the confidence will come. So who qualifies for your program?
So JAG was originally started about 40 years ago, and it's a nonprofit organization. And so the students that we work for are usually students who have faced some type of life challenges or will have life challenges as they continue to go through life.
That makes a very fluid relationship between the two of you, because you, as a principal of College View, just real quick, tell us what that is, and that will make perfect sense on your relationship.
Well, at College View, we service the whole Hardin County area.
Right.
So every elementary, middle, and high school, when they have students that have challenges, that have had traumatic events, what we classify as critically at risk,
right.
then they come over here to help get treatment to help understand the root causes of what's going on and what's manifesting inside of them to try to develop those coping mechanisms they need to overcome that.
Gotcha.
In addition to that, we also have Hardin County High School, which is a different format for students who have been hit with life pretty hard and just need to move on. Some of them have children.
Yes.
Some of them are providing for their families already, so they need an alternative path to graduation.
Gotcha.
So these are students who desperately need confidence. They need to learn advocacy. They need to know that they have every right to look someone in the eye when they speak to them instead of looking down.
Right.
So we try to provide the hope to try to get them to a better place, and that's where this partnership comes in.
And
It's
then
very
you hand them
fluid.
over to Dr. Kasinger, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay, so that it is such a harmonious relationship that you all have. That's wonderful. So once they come to you, you're going to teach them those soft skills.
Right.
And so to circle back, who qualifies or who is your target? I hate to use that word, for lack of a better word, that would really embed well in your program?
So most of our students, well, actually, I guess all of our students to some degree have faced, like I was saying, life challenges, or they have trauma or have had trauma in their lives.
And we hate that happens here in Hardin County, but we are not immune,
Right.
unfortunately.
And we also don't ignore it either.
Sure. Amen. I appreciate that.
50% of our students in Jack, Kentucky, not just College View, but Jack, Kentucky in general, identify themselves as people of color. We have 15 to 20% of our student population are students with disabilities. And we also serve those students who dominantly face inequalities in education, on the job, and just for their overall well-being.
And you know, the laymen, myself included out here, not in the depths, in the trenches of what you all do, we don't think about those things.
Yeah.
We think, oh no, that doesn't happen anymore in this day and age, or that doesn't happen here in Hardin County. But apparently it does. And thank you for the awareness. That's super, super important. Once Dr. King has done all that he can for these folks and his fabulous staff, they come to you, and it's not a requirement, obviously, but if people feel like they still need a little assistance to get ready for life, and they come to you all, what does a daily curriculum look like? Do you teach them in the classroom? Do you embed them in the community, or both? How does that work?
Yeah, so that's what's really unique and what I love so much about JAG is it's a very hands-on program. And so in the state of Kentucky, what they do is they develop a code every year for the JAG course, and a student can actually take JAG all 4 years through high school and receive new credit each year.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And the benefit of that for the students is that they're constantly refining those employable skills.
Yes.
They're constantly, refining the soft skills, so to speak, which makes them so much more marketable and ready, when they get out into the workforce after graduation. So there's not really so much as a typical day because every day is different,
Right.
For various reasons.
Well, that's like life. There's no
Right.
typical day in life, too. That makes perfect sense.
Right.
Yes.
But once they have learned like a basic competency or one of these basic skills, the next step is to partner up with someone in the community, whether it's a business or an organization or even like a community affiliate, or even someone who may be their own boss, an entrepreneur. We've had Cody, excuse me.
You're fine.
We've had Cody Hellard, who's a local real estate agent. He came in, spoke to the classes about real estate. And a lot of kids didn't have any idea what that took. And once they heard him speaking, you could see and hear some of them say, you know what, maybe
wheels
that's
were
something
turning.
that, I could actually look into.
Right.
Because they realized, this doesn't take 4 years of college. This doesn't take, 6 to 18 months of trade school. This just takes me doing the work online and then taking the exam and passing it. And Cody's a great guy, and he even told the students, I'll help you out. If this is something you want to do, lean on me.
Right.
And that's what we do with a lot of our partners in the community is we have them come in, speak to students, or we'll take the students to those work sites, depending on what that work site is.
Or a field trip.
Right.
Who doesn't love a field trip?
The only thing that hinders that sometimes is like OSHA standards, regulations, that kind of
Sure.
stuff for safety of the students and the businesses, obviously. But sometimes it's just even something so simple as a field trip to Job Corps, where a lot of students, heard about Job Corps but don't realize, I can actually get trained, which is actually one of the people that we partner with, not Job Corps specifically, but we partner with the Office for Vocational Rehabilitation.
Wow.
And
There's so many resources out there that the layman is totally not aware of.
Which is so critical for this position for
Yes.
Dr. Kasinger, so he can bridge that gap.
Right.
And he's also been to the chamber and developed partnerships with all the businesses, not just the ones that we mentioned. So
Right.
he's instrumental in not only finding local, but also state agencies to help our
That
students.
is wonderful. And that's actually how I met you. Let me brag on you a little bit. I'm a chamber ambassador, and you spoke at the chamber breakfast, and I was super impressed with your knowledge and your passion for our youth. So I was like, I got to get these folks on this show to share the community. I don't know how many viewers we have. We could have one. Hi, Grandma. I don't know. But to let folks know that there are these programs out here. Sorry to interrupt you, but I just had to brag on you because your passion shows through.
Thank you.
And I know you indirectly, Dr. King, so I know yours does too. Yeah. So I'm so glad you all are here. So your main focus is high school age
Yes.
students?
Yes.
And do they earn some sort of diploma or certificate from your program as well as when they graduate from high school?
They can, depending on what they actually do in the program, because we also have within the program we have what most schools would consider like a club,
Okay.
like the JAG Club, but it's actually part of the program itself. So students are in that club whether they want to be or not.
Right, and I like that because kids that age, they just want to belong somewhere. And why not that club, right? Kids who are on the straight and narrow path to get somewhere good.
Yeah, and that's one of the reasons that JAG actually has that embedded within the program is because kids need that sense of belonging,
They do.
which is really good for us at College View because it's a different setup. It's a different type of learning environment. So things such as clubs, sports teams, they don't exist within our organization,
Right.
but things like JAG in itself, kids. Lots of times what we're seeing is our students just really like wanting to alter and change their behaviors to be more positive just so that they can be a part of what JAG's doing.
Right. And at that age, don't they learn a lot from their peers?
They do.
So if you surround yourself with the right people, it seems like that program kind of just makes that happen, whether it's a choice or not. And that is a beautiful thing. Truly, truly. So who pays you? How is JAG funded?
So JAG has different types of funding. Okay. Our funding comes from the Office of Voc Rehab. Our funding also comes from Medicaid.
Oh, really? That's a shocker. Okay.
Medicaid and Voc Rehab.
Wow.
And we also have we receive grants at times, but we also lean on to our affiliates or partners. And so at the national level, and there's so many to mention, but at the national level, some of our partners are like Nike, Kohl's, Taco Bell, McDonald's, Boeing, AT&T, T-Mobile.
I had no idea.
Because they see the importance in having work-ready employees.
Sure.
And so they realize,
those soft skills.
Right, and they realize that JAG can provide that for them.
Wonderful.
Now at the Kentucky level, we have Chick-fil-A as a Kentucky affiliate. They're always sponsoring our luncheons.
I believe
and,
that.
And our meetings
That doesn't
and training.
hurt your feelings a bit,
Not
does
at
it?
all.
No?
Not at all.
Yeah.
We also, AT&T is a Kentucky affiliate. But also Toyota is a Kentucky affiliate.
Wow.
And that's actually something we'd love to see here in Hardin County is with the new Ford plant coming in. Toyota recognized how important, having those workable students or those students with employable skills, coming into the community and being ready to work in their facility over in Georgetown that they partnered
My
up.
hometown.
Yeah, and so they partnered up with JAG, for those reasons, and that's something we'd love to see here in Hardin County with the Ford plant coming in as well.
I can see that happening. All you have to do is say, hey, Ford, Toyota, did this. I mean, if they're smart, they'll jump on.
Right.
Yeah, that's a great marketing. Feel free to use that. Absolutely. Now, I dug around on your website a little bit, and I saw that you also, and this is something, not everybody can write a big check, but you will take them, right? If someone wants to write a personal check or an organization, great tax deduction for businesses, just saying. You also have something involved called Amazon Smile. Let me get this right. Smile.Amazon. For us little people who can't write the big check, we can go onto our Amazon account, and a percentage of everything that we buy, guilty of a lot, can go to a nonprofit organization of your choice, and you all are on that list. So if people are interested, if you can't write that big check, but you have the passion, these folks are helping our youth and our community across the nation, but we're going to keep it local for this show, and give a little percentage of what you buy on Amazon to JAG, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, so I will put that out there. I'm going to put that on Facebook. I don't have a lot of friends, but I have good friends, and we'll see if we can't stir up some money for you all. But to backtrack, if somebody feels it in their heart and in their soul to write a check, you'll take it. You'll cash it, right?
So,
not personally.
Right, yeah. So
let's be clear.
Right.
Yes.
So so all the donations that go to JAG are put right back out into the program. So it's not like I would receive a bonus for
no, of course not.
for graduating 3 extra kids or getting 5 kids jobs next week, something like that.
Yeah.
So like my salary, for example, is through funding.
Sure.
So even though it pays my bills,
right.
I'm providing that service for the students.
You gotta keep those lights on, man.
Right.
Absolutely. Folks who work in the nonprofit sector don't do it for the money. That has been my experience. They do it for the passion, 100%. So let's get a little personal. What made you all do what you do?
Well, and just to go back to JAG, one thing that's different than all these other clubs at these other high schools is when students graduate, a lot of times sports and all that ends.
Right.
JAG doesn't.
No,
he
and
continues
that club, those relationships.
He continues to advocate for his students that have graduated.
That's great.
So they not only have the soft skills that are developed before they get a job, during the job, but even after graduation, they have someone in their corner that can help them navigate through these sometimes, trying relationships with their supervisors that they don't quite understand, hours, pay. They've got someone right there that they know that they have a relationship with, that they trust.
And that word relationship is beautiful because they need mentors.
Right.
Quite often the children, and there are exceptions, I'm sure, but the children that find themselves in these scenarios, in these situations, in these programs did not have the leadership, the mentors, the relationships that they needed for success.
Right.
So it's very good to have someone that they can call upon. Life is hard.
It is.
At all ages there are challenges, especially the young ones.
And that's, like Dr. King was saying, that's one of the things that, makes JAG so unique, is that when a student signs up for JAG, and once they graduate from the JAG program, they literally still have me with them for a full year post-graduation.
Fabulous.
So at least once a month at a minimum, I'm reaching out to them if they're not reaching out to me first, and I'm checking in on them, how are you doing at work? Some of the things like Dr. King was mentioning. And one of those reasons, especially outside of just being their advocate, which is the most important part, and which is also one of the reasons most of the students actually join JAG, is because they're like, somebody believes in me, is that like let's say 3 months after graduation, and let's just say fictional student Johnny, I check in on him, how are things going at the Ford plant? And
I like that, yeah.
And Johnny says, oh, I don't know, Dr. K, I'm not really sure if this was a job for me. Well, then I would encourage Johnny to stay in the job while we looked for other employment. And then once he found other employment, it gave him the 2 weeks notice, got employed there, he don't burn those bridges. So if something happens down the road and he's like, oh, I guess I was wrong, I should have been at Ford.
So after they are out of the program and you stick with them for at least a year, which is fabulous, they can call upon you, say they're having a hard time at work and they're not sure if it's a good fit for them. Do you step in and advocate for them or talk to them? What is your role in a scenario like that?
Well, actually, it would be any of the above. So, one of the things about JAG is to not just, secure these partnerships and helping these kids, get jobs afterwards, but it's to actually truly form a relationship with the businesses as well as the students.
I can see where that would be super important.
Right. So, if, again, say Johnny, isn't enjoying his job or is having trouble, struggling with his supervisor or whatever, then I should already at this stage have a relationship with that business, whether it's the supervisor or the human resources department, the CEO, or whoever it is that I would be speaking to.
Wonderful.
And I speak to them, let them know, hey, here's what the kid's going through. And then we can together hopefully formulate a plan to help him get through this without wanting to leave the job.
That advocacy is so important because while the employer sees them as an employee, they also need to see them as a person with maybe some past trauma or some past trouble, challenges, in their life. So it's really nice for them to have that advocate, that mentor to kind of help in between. Because at the end of the day, everybody wants to see everyone succeed, right?
Right.
Yes. Thank you, you all. I'm very passion driven, and to see folks of the same ilk and to take care of our youth especially. I have a daughter that's a teacher. My mother was a teacher. I couldn't do it. I just couldn't do it. I would get too personally involved. I would get too emotional. I would probably want to discipline more than I'm allowed. So it's definitely a special position for very special people. So thank you all for what you do every day. I can't imagine the challenges you see, but your passion shows through, and we appreciate you. You're both landed in the right place. If you doubt it for 1 minute, I'm here to tell you, you all landed in the right position. So thank you for what you do in our community, and thank you for taking some time out of your very busy schedule to come sit with me for a few minutes. And I really hope people pay attention and hear what you all do, what you're about, and how they can help. Because everyone, regardless of who you are, can help in some way. Everyone can make a difference, and you all certainly have. So thank you so much for your time. I appreciate you both greatly.
Yeah, thank you.
And I'm Melanie Parker. Thank you for joining us on Focus on Finance, and we will see you next time.